Happy New Year. Today I'm going to be doing my January TBR. It is Capricorn season. It is my birth month. I turned 26 on January 7th, so it's coming up. I'm just having dinner with some friends, and I'm just hoping that the new year brings lots of love and happiness for us all. I think this is going to be a great year. I have so many trips planned that are going to be really fun. I have Colorado. I'm going to Disney World with my best friends. So does anyone have any resolutions this year? I guess before we start this TBR, I personally really want to document more. You know how people like do those photo dumps? I can't even do that because I have no life and I don't take enough videos or photos. So I'd like to start doing that more when I actually do things. And I'd like to do more things instead of just being a couch potato all the time. So that's kind of my thing. I always say I'm gonna drink more water, but I never do that. I do genuinely want to do that. But today we're talking my January TBR, the kickoff to the year. I love the fresh new Goodreads goal. You know, I'm lowering the goal this year. I'm hoping to exceed the goal instead of like be under it. So I'm going to lower that to like 100 books or something like that. So diving into my January TBR, the first book is Indigo by Daphne Perry. This is the Sugar and Spice book club pick. Discord's always linked down below, but we have a live show every month on either Lachlan, Sarah, or my channel. It is a romantic suspense. It has some murder involved, and we also have enemies to lovers, small town romance. And I believe the main character had a one-night stand with this guy that she is going to hate and then love, you know what I mean? So I'm very excited for this. I've heard really good things about Daphne Perry. I have not read anything by her yet, so I'm hoping to love her as much as other people do and get on the bandwagon and read all of her backlist. This book does have a prequel called Christmas in Quincy. I don't think you necessarily have to read it at all, but it just sets up the town if you want to. So that's an option as well, but very excited to discuss this with everyone in late January. And then classic literature is back. It's going to be on my channel this month on January 9th and the 16th. So those are both Mondays, and I picked 3 Swedish mountain men for us to read this month. It is Snowed In, Isolated Cabin, Reverse Harem, and I think it's going to be a really fun time. If you don't know what classic literature is, we read a book on live reading sprints and we react and talk about it with y'all. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to be back. We've had a 3-month hiatus with like the holidays, and we're back at it again. And I thought this would just be a super fun, snowy kind of January vibe. So hopefully it hits. I don't know. Definitely going to be a great kickoff to the year. And then somehow I convinced my sister-in-law's book club to read Credence by Penelope Douglas. So I'm gonna be rereading that once again. And I'm very excited because it's been 1 year since I reread it for the second time. So this is just the perfect timing. But that's gonna be a really good discussion. If you haven't read Credence, it's a great time to do so. It is so wintry, and you get snowed in the mountains, and it's very good for this time of year. If you haven't read it yet, get on that. Then of course we have Holly Black's The Stolen Heir. This is a continuation of the Folk of the Air trilogy, or it's like a companion series. I'm not quite sure, but it does follow new characters. We follow Oak, who is the younger brother of Jude from the first book. I think we get to have a romance with him as well. I think there's some sort of adventure that this girl and him go on, and I think they're enemies to lovers. So we get more enemies to lovers from Holly Black, and I just can't wait to be back in this world of fae and magic. So I'll also be picking up The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This will be my first reread of the book, and I'll be doing it with my friends from the Winers. We're kind of revamping our book club to be more like the classic literature sprints type vibe. I'm hoping that everybody loves it. We have Rachel and me have read it, and then Darian and Sasha have not read it yet. So we're excited, and it's gonna be super fun. So if you want to read The Cruel Prince with us, sprints will be coming for it. Then we have Jennifer Hartman's new releases, An Optimist's Guide to Heartbreak and A Pessimist's Guide to Love. Those are both coming out this month, and I'm really excited to read them. I'll definitely be reading them this month. But then in February, our Sugar and Spice book club pick is the first book in this duet. So that's really exciting. We get to have a Jennifer Hartman book next month. But this book has a lot of different tropes. It's kind of childhood friends to lovers, but it's also best friend's brother. And they're kind of estranged at this point, and she's coming back into the town and she ends up working under him. So it also has a kind of workplace romance vibe, and it's grumpy sunshine. It's kind of different from Jennifer Hartman's usual vibe, so I'm interested to see how she does it. It seems like it's gonna be like a rom-com, but I know it's still gonna be hard-hitting. So I'm very excited to see how these ones are. Then we have Whispers of You by Cowles. This is a new to me author, but Jess from Peace Love Books loves this author so much. So I really wanna get into this author this year. I know that she writes a lot of suspense romance, but her backlist is kind of intimidating. So I decided I should start with the new series so I get to start fresh. So I believe this book is a second chance romance, and I think that they kind of grew up together. Something happened where he took a bullet for her or something of that nature. That's what I'm getting from the synopsis, but it's kind of vague, so I'd like to keep it that way, but I'm ready to dive in. I think the series is called Lost and Found. Then we have the Blood of Dysterium, I think that's how you say it, and this one is a new adult dark fantasy romance, and I'm really excited to dive into it. It is a fae romance, and I believe that our main character is locked up, kind of like the Plated Prisoners series, where we have a main character that has been contained. I think that the main character is similar, so she finds out that the whole world is like in destruction, and it's been compared to Shadow and Bone in terms of the romance. It is rivals to lovers, it has steam, and I believe this one is a darker romance as well, so it definitely fits my taste. So I'm really hoping that I love it and I can tell you guys to read it. Then we have Release by Ali Martinez. This one is an emotional, angsty romance where our couple had been best friends as children. They'd done everything together. And then when they're teenagers, I think our heroine is assaulted and our hero kills him and then ends up going to jail, I think. And so now when he gets out of jail, he hates her. So it's kind of a second chance romance with a lot of history and tension. I don't know where I saw this, but it's not like a new romance or anything. It's actually a series, but I've been wanting to get into Ali Martinez, so I'm ready to see how I like her. Then we have a classic, Who Is She? I know, but this was a Christmas gift from my dad, Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. He tried to give me Emma when I was a kid. I think I was probably like 16 or something. And I was not vibing with that shit. But he said that I'll like this one and that he really enjoys this one. He read it on audio, I think. And the quote on the back is, "I have no notion of loving people by halves. It is not my nature." But yeah, let me know if you've read this. He said it's a coming of age story. So I am ready to see what it's all about. Then we have a YA fantasy, Soul of the Deep. This one is the sequel to Skin of the Sea, and I loved the first book. It was like a West African mythology inspired mermaid story, and I just thought it was so good, and I'm really excited to see how this sequel is. I think this is a duet, so I think it's just the end of the story. And Simi, I think, was in a precarious place when we ended the first book. So I can't wait to dive back into this mermaid fantasy. Then going along with more fantasy, we have King of Battle and Blood and Queen of Myth and Monsters. These are vampire romances and I'm excited to get to them. I just picked up this one, and this one I've had for a really, really long time. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I don't know if I've just been not in the mood for a vampire romance. I feel like winter is the time that I really itch to read fantasy romance, so these are gonna be really fun. And then lastly, I would love to read Fiona Cole this month. I've been reading her lately. I'm in the middle of Voyeur right now, which is the first book in her Voyeur series. But for Christmas, she dropped this novella called Goner, and I was just so sucked in. I loved her writing style. So I decided I need to pick up Voyeur, and I've been loving that too. So I want to continue on with this series. They are all voyeurism type books with this club. So if you like celebrity Delicious Players Club. I feel like these have a similar vibe, at least from what I've read so far. I will continue on and let you know in recent reads which ones are my favorites. Right now, Voyeur is like an age gap student teacher romance, and it is fire. So those are the books that I want to read this month. I hope you guys have a great reading month, a great start to your year. Let me know down below what book you're most excited for this month, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.